Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we're going to talk about the top 16 decks from the Chicago Regional that happened this past weekend. Really cool event, and also this was the first big event since the new Surge leaders came out, which are awesome, and a lot of people were really excited for them, including myself. So it's cool to see how they did this weekend. And spoilers, they did really well. So cool. Before we start, shout outs to One Top Cut Events for running this event and doing it so smoothly. I heard a lot of good things for people who were at the event for how easy it was to get through the rounds and everything. So shout outs to them. Also, their stream was great with their commentary as well. So and I was able to pop in and out this weekend and watched it. So that was really helpful for me and really nice to watch. And then also they got their lists out the day of the end of the tournament. So shouts to specifically Jimmy Ballard for getting these inputted, and then also Mark Hill for hosting it on DBSDex's website. And also embedding them into this website as well. The link to the Top Cut events will be in the description below. And they have this nice bracket, which honestly we don't get brackets very often. In these, we just kind of get like the top 16 like Swiss things. So in case you're wondering who knocked out whom and all that, there's that here. And then also shouts to Alex Lopez for telling me some additional info on the event and help me out there. So thank you for that. So looking at the top four, we've got Robert Rizzi's first place with the new red-yellow Surge Goku leader. We also have Colin Kaiser with the red-yellow Sun Goku leader. And the boy Joey Palladino from Crossworlds with red-yellow Goku leader. And fourth, we've got Janek Toll with yellow Broly, which I guess is cool in the sense of like diversity, but almost a clean sweep in the Surge Goku, which is crazy for this is the first event that he's been legal. So it's really interesting to almost intimidating that he's doing so well day one. But today, very cool to see a new card do very well. And let's jump into the leader distribution for this event. So if you look, we've got the top 16. We've got 5 Surge Q, 2 Surge Piccolo, 2 Surge Broly, 2 Hachiyak, 2 Janemba, 2 Yellow Baby, and 1 Yellow Broly. And pretty much it's almost a 50 split of the new Surge leaders and then the old pretty much tier 1 decks from last meta. And they're just pretty much tier 2 in a sense, and then there's Surge. This new Surge stuff is tier 1. I guess they're not tier 2. I'm just saying the new cards are being represented a little bit more than the old cards, but I that makes sense. And in no way do I think that any of these leaders are non-playable, especially Hachiyak. Hachiyak is really good right now. But yeah, these Surge leaders did super well. I think part of it is because something to just keep in mind about these leaders, that they're new and people don't really know how to play against them right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason they did maybe better than they would normally do is people are still getting adjusted to these leaders, and especially like some of the like backside effects, and like if you don't realize what Surge Goku does, like both of Surge Goku's abilities are game changers. Being able to just wipe the if your opponent doesn't realize that they can take double strike away from their battle card when they're swinging for game, just dumping their entire hand, they probably just lost, right? Because they lost their hand and everything. Or that the plus 10k you get is for the turn. Like both these effects, I think people get confused on how they actually operate. So I think that probably got some wins for some people, but I still think Surge Goku is strong. And I think for the other cards as well. But yeah, let's just jump on into it with the first place deck. So this is Robert Rizzi's. He's playing tricolor Goku with red, yellow, and blue. Mostly red, yellow, with a couple of blue cards for specifically Frostedly Poison and also Senzu Bean. I've played a lot of Surge Goku, and I think like the main thing, like Beans, I think is really important for this deck because you find yourself wanting one more energy far more times than you want one more card or something like that. So Bean I think is a really good choice in being able to go into the blue engine. Frostedly Poison can just honestly win you the game. So it's cool. It's a great card for that. And then also Combination Attack can do a very similar thing. And the cool thing about with this leader in general is two things. One, he's really good at cycling because every time you swing with it, you can drop a card. And if you look at a lot of these cards in this deck, a lot of them are like 10k combos or multicolors, so they can kind of be sticky in hand. But being able to just drop them when you swing, if you have too many of them, are additionally when you awaken Surge, you have to put cards under your leader. So if you have cards that you can't use anymore that are kind of dead in your hand, you can put them under your leader, and then you replace them by drawing more. So it's just to being able to be really fluid with the cards in your hand, let you be kind of greedy with kind of what kind of cards you run. And the way you play this deck is it's kind of a little bit kind of like how the yellow Broly worked last set with the Zeno button, but the idea is that you're really being like passive aggressive. You're just chipping away at your opponent by swinging, and then if you do anything if your opponent's trying to do anything from their hand, or if you're not from their hand, if they're just trying to play anything in general, you just have the options for it. You want to keep two energy open pretty much every time you pass your turn, just for cards like Grade 8 Bardock, for Arrival Beerus, for Topo Righteous Aid, for combination attack. And then for 3 energy, you can also have Vegeta Exploding Weakness, or Frost Deadly Poison. Like, just the idea, like, you can be aggressive, and then your opponent has the choice of not playing anything, which means you're still winning, or playing around something, which means they're not playing efficiently, or playing into something and then just having a hard time getting the tempo back. Some especially good things about this red-yellow leader is that it's a red-yellow leader, which means that you can play Broly Crown of Retribution, which is borderline broken right now in a lot of ways, being in this kind of format where everyone's trying to keep energy open. Just being able to play this and like punish your opponent for being proactive is really stupid. For 1 energy, being able to see your opponent's hand is already crazy. Just the fact that this said, for 1, look at your opponent's hand. If they have 2 energy open, I think would already be good enough to be played. But the addition of being able to pitch a card from it, I think, is stupid. Also you can play Super Saiyan Vegeta because you also need a red leader, so that's fantastic there. You can also run Great Art Bardock because you need a yellow leader. You can run Swift Retaliation Cooler because you need a yellow leader. Like, all these, just being able to run all these like really strong cards in one deck just because you have a Surge leader. This is what I think a lot of people are scared of when they're making Surge leaders, that there are a lot of cards that are specific to one color because you don't want to be able to mix and match some effects. And you got this with this leader, and I think it's very powerful, and there's just so much counterplay you can do. So there's that. And some additional cards. Being able to run Super Saiyan 4 Goku is great. Being able to run the Janemba Secret Rare, this can just end the game for you. He also has 1 copy of Mirror, 1 copy of Champa, and then 1 Switch Retaliation Cooler if you want to do that combo. Or also Almighty Resistance because you need a red leader, and boom, you got a red leader, so that's good. He also has some really interesting side cards. One, this Vegeta Agent of Destruction, super cool card, especially since you need a blue energy to do it. And if you have a red leader, you can play this for 3, and then for 1 more energy, it becomes a 30k double strike dual attack. So this can do 4 damage by itself for 4 energy. We also have this Saiyan Onslaught Kefla with Deflect, and then if this card's being able to be when this card is played using R attacks. Okay, so you can swing at this twice, and then it becomes by the end of it a 35k, and also you get to draw cards, so that's pretty good. And also this Super Baby is fantastic for just a lot of reasons, and it should be in the side if you can afford it. But active battle once per turn. Choose 3 cards in your hand and place them in your drop area, and then choose 1 card in your life, add to your hand. Choose your opponent's leader cards, and all their battle cards get minus 20k power and have their non-keywords negated for the duration of the turn. So this is like the one good way for you to shut off Surge Goku, because you can, if you're playing against the Mirror, is you play this card and then active battle, you just turn off all their Surge abilities, and then they can't do anything anymore. So because they're non-keyword, because they're just active main, active battle. So that's really good. That can just win you the game too, just by plopping this down. It's kind of like Fu Shroud and Mystery, but specifically for for 1 turn earlier, but for more specific circumstances. We're done about this deck. He's probably going to talk about it a lot more if he makes a video, so I'm done blabbing about it. But this is more just talking about this archetype in general as well. You're going to see that if you go over to Colin's deck, it's very similar. The big change he did, I looked at it. There's really nothing too different in the main. The big thing, I guess, is he ran a Master Roshi instead of 4 Beerus. Okay, that's the huge thing, right? Other side deck choices he made is that he ran the Ultra Instinct Son Goku in the side. So this, you can play this with 2 blue energy, so that's kind of like a sneak thing you can do there. But other than that, these lists are almost identical, which is super crazy that they both got to the, this was the finals match, pretty much a straight mirror, and which is I think it's really cool that that's kind of what happened, but a really good indicator that this is probably like one of the best decks that are straight up, and archetypes, honestly, that are happening right now. Okay, next up we've got, let's see, we got Joey's deck. So he's just got red, yellow, and just without the third color, it's just dual color, and it's more of an aggressive version of the deck. Just being able to, pressure them with Beerus biding his time, being able to get the Super Saiyan 4 Goku out super early, because you can awaken with this leader whenever you want. Sure, you lose card advantage in the long run if you do so, but being able to just, you don't have to wait until playing to play this card. You can just do it when it makes sense. And you can, if you get a Beerus out really early, you plop the Beerus, you do his effect on something, and then you just awaken, and then you pop the 5-drop Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku. So nice stuff there. And just also, he has a lot of, like, being able to run the Swift Retaliation Cooler. That's something I think he's putting priority towards, especially with the mirror and the double strike. Like, this can just, like, your leader can just end the game by himself, because it can become a 25k for free. And then being able to just have the 3 energy open to play Swift Retaliation and get the attack through with the Chomp in hand, like, that's just, it wins you the game so many times. So I can't imagine how many times he was able to just clench out a game because of that for this tournament. And then I guess in the side, if he needs to be more control-y and more take advantage of like the potential to be like, if he was playing against something that's more aggressive than him, or that is more, it can control against his aggression, he can just go into these cards on the side. Like Denial is great. 2 more of these Grade 8 Bardocs. The secret rare, because obviously you try to end before turn 5, but if you're getting to turn 5 anyways, you better have this card in your deck. And so good job, and shoutouts to Joey. And lastly, we've got 2 more of these Surge Goku decks, but these ones are more yellow-blue leaning with some red, especially like because they use Beerus the Fickle God instead of Whis the Spectator. And so the idea of these ones, so this one is, let's see, this is Tyler Rice's build, and then this one over here is Javad Cruz's. And they're both pretty similar. The idea is that these Goku Blacks just generate, and like, this is also pretty much very similar to how that yellow Broly deck was running last set with the Zeno button. You just choose 2 colors, and then you just choose 3 colors. One of them has to be blue, and then you can just be really aggressive with not aggressive with like the Goku Blacks, but also you have cards like Frostily Poison, which can just win you the game sometimes, and Ultra Instinct Son Goku. You got Power Patora, which can just get a huge amount of advantage in winning the game as well. You just try to gain a lot of value, and then when you do, you win the game. So 4 Grade 8 Bardocs, 3 of these Vegetas, and any other super huge difference. Javad only ran 1 Frostily Poison. I think you gotta run at least 2. He's running these Vegeta energy salvos though. And he's also running an Almighty Resistance with 2 mirror in the main, which is 1 more than Tyler. But yeah, like you can really see how these decks are formed, and just kind of the idea. Just the fact that this is a yellow Goku is fantastic, so you can run these Grade 8 Bardocs, and you just gain a lot of pressure and value. And just 2 energy for 20k double strike is already super strong, but then on top of it, being able to defend for 10k and also draw a card and also rest a card, like all these effects are fantastic for 2 energy. With like, it's almost not a curse that it's active battle as well, because you can do it unexpectedly. So great decks. And let's jump on over to the so this is the 4th place deck. This is Janax Toll's Broly. So he's running, once again, this is kind of like the Senso Beam, but this is just blue yellow, and it's kind of the same idea of just being kind of obnoxious, in the sense that you want to try to get as much value out. You want to play as many Grade 8 Bardocs as you can, with the idea of also he's running these energy hit rapid movements, which become free combos when you have a blue yellow in your energy area. And the auto for this guy is when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards placed at the bottom of its owner's deck. So probably not super important, but he just ran a lot of interesting tech. Cold Bloodlust is fantastic being able to run this, as well as I don't think he ran any of Frost Deadly Poison, right? No. He just, depended on that Cold Bloodlust. He also ran these Shinimba Infernal Intruders, which is an interesting choice, but it makes a lot of sense. So, turn 3 and later, if your opponent wipes the field, which I think having an empty field might be a little bit hard with this deck, just because you're trying to play as many Grade 8 Bardocks as you can. But if you end up being empty, you can just, for 1 energy, play a 20k crit, and then go from there. And then, you can untap it with Broly, and keep going there. And he's also running 2 Through the Dark Banishers and, Swift Retaliation Cooler, which can be fantastic for ending the game. A single God Strike Beerus, these Bojacks. Let's see, and the Son Goku and Vegeta, if you don't remember what this does, it's a rival for 1 blue, 1 yellow. When you play this card, draw 1, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards to negate its skills for duration of the turn. So it's kind of like another God Strike Beerus. I'd almost wonder, I guess you gotta, be a little bit more specific in your energy, but I'm almost surprised you didn't just run 2 of these. I guess this chooses a keyword skill, so that's more important. But I wonder why these hits are pretty good, but I don't think there's enough Arrival in this deck to make them super duper. I guess they probably worked out. But I'd hope for a little bit more Arrival from there. He also ran 2 Desperate Measures, which is very good for all these counterplays cards getting, like, this stops Topo from being played. This also stops any of the multi-counters as well. So Desperate Measures, I think, is fantastic with Topo running around as much as he is. I think this is a great choice. And then that's really it. It just, Broly can win the game by himself just because he swings so much and he gains so much advantage so quickly, and then just unexpectedly finishing the game at the end. All right, next we're going to the Surge Piccolo. So this is Javante Williams' deck. He's running blue-green with pretty much the idea that, not the idea, but just whenever this card was released or was announced, everyone's like, oh, cool, so this is a new Gogeta leader, right? And everyone said, yep, and here we are. That's really what this leader is. This archetype is, you just try to get to your Gogeta as fast as possible with all of these blue-green cards. Some additional things he has, though. He has this Uneasy Alliance Son Goku, so when you play this card, choose up to one of your battle cards other than this card. Energy cost 3 or less, return it to your hand, which I can only assume is used to bounce back these Vegeta the Cruels, so you can use them later for your Union Fusions, which is super nice, and just kind of bounce cards back from there. He's also, so the idea for using this Gogeta is you can use either the Vegeta the Cruel or Sneak Attack Vegeta with these Uneasy Alliances. I think that's the only way you can do it. So these Vegeta the Cruels are really important to get back into your hand, because he's not running any 20Ks. Correct. Yeah. So the Ultra Instinct and also the Son Goku, Sands of Earth. You can't Patara with them. Or Union Fusion. Jeez. Also, since it's he's ramping with this deck as well, just because it makes sense for Gogeta, but he's also running 2 of these Android 21s, and so it's a triple attack deflect. When you play this card from your hand, choose all your opponent's non-multicolor energy and battle cards, ignoring barrier, negate their skills, and return them to their owner's deck, and then shuffle your decks. And so this is just a really good bomb as well. So being able to just pop this down if your opponent's going wide on field instead of being able to, just keep being control heavy and stockpiling cards. This is just a really good card for doing that. Especially since you can, this leader has ramp in itself, because the second surge ability is that you choose 1 blue or green multicolor card from your drop, negate its energy exhaust skill, and place it in your energy. So you can do that, and then you get 1 more energy, and then you can just go into your Android 21. So that all these just make sense. These Piccolo's simulated abilities also just are really obnoxious. Being able to rival out the Son Goku and Son Gohan is great. And if you need to do 2 more damage, if you have 8 energy, you can do it all with Android 21 by itself. Especially if you only have 7 energy, you can bring 1 back with your Surge Awaken, and then you put in your energy and just really go from there. So this just makes sense and can help you just clench out games. Also, this card's stupid and can help you win the game outright. So being able to run this card is good too. And the only thing I'd say I think is missing is more drop area, because you have to get 10 cards into your drop for sparking. and I think that's, I mean, I guess you only need to have 8 cards, but I think that's a little bit tricky to do without having any bursts. So I was really surprised there weren't any of the Universe 7 3-drop Piccolos that let you play a Universe 7 card from your hand for free. With as long as it's Universe 7 or Namekian with a cost of 4 or less, I believe that's his restrictions. So because you can get this out a turn early, and then it's already has barrier, it'll have barrier and it's active battle active next turn. And also, it's just the fact that it's burst 3 can really help you out there. But I think that obviously this deck still did well, and shoutouts to him. So and obviously this is a deck that everyone was afraid of, and I'm happy that at least it seems like it's in the middle of it's a good deck, but it's not an oppressive deck, and I hope it stays that way. All right, next up we've got Frisco Foz, and he's running a pretty much a similar engine, but he's going balls to the walls with Tricolor. With the idea of first, so he's running pretty much like the blue-green stuff. He's that what Trevante is running, but kind of like a little bit less. So only one of these Android 21s, and also he's just going straight with 3 of these Vegeta the Cruels, 3 of these Son Goku Spirits of the Planet. If you don't know, this is a revive card, and then permanently you can't play this card from any skill. I like just the idea like this is a revive card. That's a Goku that's also blue-green. I think it's just for energy. I don't think you outright play it, but you can if you want, and it becomes a 10k. It becomes a 25k triple strike. So if you play, use a blue and green. So this could end the game if you really, really need it to. But yeah, just the idea there. He also has the cool idea. So he's using Assimilate, which is good for getting your super combo. Yes. So Namekian Duo Sayanel. He was using Defending Father Paragus, which makes a lot of sense, but Sayanel is great because you can use Assimilate, which means it's easier for you to get your cards. This is like a free, for free, you can just put this card in your drop area and get cards you need. This is just a free super combo and free drop, so you can get to your sparking easier. And additionally, you're able to get these Nail Pride of Namek. These are good. So first, it has Auto Burst 2 at the end of battle, in which you combo this card from your hand if your leader card is a Mechian, play this card in rest mode. But mostly it's just that you get Burst 2. That's the main reason you play this card. So if you need some extra burst for your Gogeta, that's why you do it. And then some extra cards. So he's running 2 of these, 2 more of each of these Saiyan, Bloodlines, Vegeta, and these Source of Power Son Gokus. So you're able to get some more reliable Gogeta targets. He's running one of these Android 21s as well, and also the Super Saiyan Broly All Out Assault, which seems to be one of the main reasons he's running yellow. This is a fantastic card, being able to pretty much just KO something when you bring it out with a rival is great, always. I don't think you have a way to switch to active mode outside of, I don't think you can. No, but this is still a really good card just to a rival out, so it makes sense to me. And that's really it. No objection in the main, and I think that's fine. I don't really like objection as a card, but I understand why you'd run it in these kind of decks. But I think just it just puts you too little resources to do so. Just being able to doing that, so I think it's fine to have it in the side until you need to ramp it. Let's see, and he also has some cool cards like these Son Gohan Master and Pupil. Which can help you get to 3 life, because that's there's part of the reason I think this archetype isn't as good as people thought it would be is 2 things. One, you have to get 10 cards into your drop area, which can be a lot trickier than you think it can be, and then also you have to get down to 3 cards in your life, which also, if your opponent is smart, they'll keep you at 4, and then you'll have to kind of invest into doing it, which can be kind of tricky. I guess you have to be at 5 or less because Gogeta has to do that, but it's a bit more trickier than you'd have to you'd think. Sometimes you can get really stalled out and then go from 5 life to 0 life really easily, so not super surprised of these Gohans as well. And I think that's everything I want to talk about this deck, and let's move on to the Surge Brolys. So this is the third and final Surge leader. Rip Kefla. Maybe Kefla will be better next set, but it's not super good right now. So this is Michael Friend's version out of the deck. Very, very cool. Just a lot of things I really like about this deck. One, I like the red-green Brolys. I think these are really good anti-meta cards right now. A lot of people are, comboing cards right now. That sounds really stupid, but like specifically comboing cards like the yellow Broly, or not yellow Broly, yellow Bardock is something, and you can just pop it with this Broly. Or also, for a rival, people are comboing specific cards to do their rival costs, and if you can disrupt that, you're sitting pretty, or you're making them waste one more card to get their rival out, and that's just really good value. And just the fact that this can pop cards as well is, on being played is good. I just love this card. I think it's great, and being able to take advantage of it with this leader is a really good thing. And he's also running these Kaioken Sengokus. These are fantastic game enders. And the really neat thing that he does with this, so first of all, it's really easy to get to 20 cards with this leader, just because, so if you don't know what this leader does, auto once per turn, when you combo with a red or green card, draw one. So the idea is that you just pitch cards every, 2 cards every turn, one in your turn during an active battle, when you combo with a red or green, and then during your opponent's turn when you combo with a red or green, and that just makes you cycle cards and go quicker there. And just helps you build that really easily. But also he's running these Blaze of Glory Son Gohans and these Popo Guardian's Age. Both of them have this: when you attack or combo with this card, if your leader card is green or in Gohan's sense red, place up to 3 cards from the top of your deck into your drop area. This is just fantastic, being able to not only these just by themselves, but on the Awakened side of Broly, it has this active battle once per turn. If your life is at 3 or less, you can choose one card, place it into your drop, and then activate one of these effects, which also placing cards from this leader to the bottom or to their drop area can help you. But choose up to 1 battle card in your drop area, combo with it, then this card gains double strike for duration of the turn. So you can use this to combo with either these Blaze of Glories or these Popos to get the cards that you need to get into your drop area. And then without having to really use any additional cards from your hand, and then just go off. So I think that's really good, and can really help you get the 7 drop out in a 20 cards is a whole bunch, but I think this leader can probably get there pretty comfortably on like the turn 5, turn 6 time frame. And then when you're not doing that, you have a bunch of good cards. So you can still run these 1-drop Broly's, which are absurd. You can run these Raditz to help get your combos out a rival cost out for these the 6-drop and 4-drop Broly's. This 2-drop Sengoten is fantastic in this deck. If your leader card is a Broly card, when you combo this card, choose up to 1 red extra card with field and an energy cost 2 or less from your deck, place in your drop area, then shuffle your deck. And if you place a card in your drop area, choose up to 1 of your energy, switch it active mode, and if you have 5 or less cards in your hand, draw 1. That's a lot, but it pretty much says, hey, please combo with me on turn 2, and then you can get Dormant Legends for free, which means you get more cards into your drop area, and then you comboed with this, but then it becomes a free combo, and then just like, this is just fantastic. It's a great card, and just helps this leader so much. And I think that's really everything I have to say. I think Paragus is a good choice. I'd have to play around with this deck to see if I found it was a little bit too tricky to get cards into your drop area, but like, this doesn't make it any harder to get to your 20 cards in drop, because you'd never do that anyways. You know what, Paragus is a great one. I'm misstepping. It's a good I think that's really, and being able to, you can do super combos from your drop area with this active battle on your leader as well. So being able to get Paragus and then draw 2 and drop 1 is just super good. I think the weirdest thing about this deck is that it's not running any the counter or the sparking negates in the main. I think that's super interesting, and it's just relying on Topo, which is 2 energy. To be fair though, Broly Surge of Brutality untaps 2 when it awakens, so it's not super crazy, but it is a little bit crazy. It's a little crazy. And honestly, it just looks like you just swing with leader, and then you just keep your energy untapped, and then if your opponent tries to do something, you just play cards. So seems super good. And then also Super Saiyan 3 Scramble is a fantastic game ender in its own right. So it's just like a 4th copy of this Kaioken. And then just pretty standard stuff here as well. All right, and then we also have Paul Demos version as well. Very similar. The choice cards that are different are... he ran other negates in his main, and he's only running one of these Broly's, which I'm assuming is because he could only find one day 1, which makes total sense. These are like $30-$40 right now. How much can I... Okay, I can't click on them, but these are just super duper power, like hard to obtain right now. Let's see. let me see, what does this Vegeta do? So if you have red green multicolor card in your energy and your opponent has 4 or more non-token cards in play, when you play or combo this card from your hand, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 15k power or less than k. Okay, that's not too bad. That's an okay card. Especially because it's red green, and then you want to combo with cards with your Broly leader. Okay, it makes sense. I'd say the other things, he has 2 of these Super Saiyan 4s. So a super duper, super duper, a neat combo you can do with these Broly's Tragedy Foretold is you can only have one of these out on a turn, right? So what you can do is that you can, if your opponent's attacking you, and you can always awaken, but let's say you want to awaken anyways. They swing with something with like 30k power, thinking they're safe. Combo a red green for Broly. Pay 2 energy, plop it down, give something minus 15k and something else minus 15k. Then you awaken, you play Super Saiyan 4 Goku, popping the 6-drop Broly, and then it's still the combo phase, and you still have the red and green in your combo area, so you just pay 2 more energy, especially since you just untapped 2 with Broly. You just play 2 more, and then you get another of these guys out, and then you give 2 more things minus 15k, popping almost, making sure you're popping something, especially with the potential of popping something they're going really in with. And then you also have the Super Saiyan 4 out, which means you went offering, which means they either crit a life or you draw 2 more cards. So really cool combo, and then you have 2 30ks out, and it just feels really cool to pull off. I think that's all I have to say about it. He's also running these Bulma the Problem Solvers. These cards are great in case you just really need to find these dormant legends. Because if you have red and green multicolor card in your energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2, and then you can choose 1 red or green extra card in your deck with energy cost 2 or less and place it in your drop, and then shuffle your deck, and when you play this card, draw 1. So you can just use 1 energy, play this, and put dormant legend into your drop area. There you go. Other than that, very similar in both. I really think this 6-drop Broly is a great card right now and can really screw people up, so I like it. Next, we go into the Hachiak spoilers. Not spoilers, but I don't think Peter Katani's list is 100% correct. I think there's something wrong with his deck list when he wrote it, and I could be, this is what I remember watching the stream, watching him play, but I'm like 99% sure he had one of these 10-drop Foos in his main deck, and also some of these 5-drop Saiyan Transcendence, so I'm pretty sure this isn't his actual deck list, but I'm also sure he's going to make a list for his video. But also he has 15 cards, 10 cards in his side. So I'm thinking, okay, this is pure speculation. Well, if I'm wrong, I'll update you. But I think he just missed writing some cards in his deck list, and then he just had to choose some cards from his side deck and put them in his main after that got flagged. So. That's what I think happened, but I'll let you know. Check the comments. Anyways, both these decks are really similar. Anyways, I'm just gonna look at let's see, Lee Shihan's version of it, just because I know exactly that this is the 50 cards. But yeah, just the idea, like both of them are very similar. In the fact that one, they're running the Son Goku Adventure Begins with 4-star ball. This just gains so much value. This is such a broken card almost, like. Any excuse, like this gets run in any card deck that's black, just because it generates so much value so quickly, and it forces your opponent to take care of it, and it's really just like a bunch of neat tech cards. The Shenron cards are both really great in this deck. Figure of Majesty, just for being able to untap 2 energy whenever you need to, or give something crit. For the duration of the turn, especially if you have something with dual attack, like this Turles, giving it dual attack is great, or dual attack and crit, are these Hachiaks as well. Really making these swings really matter. When you're only getting 1 or 2 a turn. Shenron also, the 5-drop, sparking. So it's only when you play this, but you get to draw 2, and you can either untap 4. You can choose 1 battle card at any cost 3 or less from your drop area and play it. Or what you really usually do is you give one of your leaders or battle cards plus 15k power and triple strike. So that's super good and really impressive. Worst case, once again, like if you just pay this for 1 and you just draw 2, that's also worth it. So I like all these cards. And it's just some other text. So first 2, Dende knew the job. I think a lot of people were really afraid of Ramp. Ramp Piccolo, Surge Piccolo, Gogeta. So that's definitely for that. Because I also think that takes out this deck, and this deck probably has a bad matchup against that. and really just like one of each Ghost Warrior. One Cooler, which gives something minus 10k, one Hatchiak, which I guess goes into the 5-drop. Yeah, this goes into the 5-drop. Wait. No. Choose one Hatchiak fuel by. Okay, yeah, it just goes into the 5-drop for 4 energy. Lord Slug, you can just KO a battle card with equal or greater than to your opponent's energy, send it to their warp, or Turtles, which just gets rid of cards in their opponent's drop, which is slowly becoming a more important thing in the game. So there's that, and I think that everything else is just pretty standard. Yeah, so just a really slow controlling deck. Makes sense that it's still being played right now, and can still see success. Next up, we've got the baby decks. Both of them are. So we've got. Let's see. We've got Hayden Baker and Jose Mercado. Both of them are pretty similar, and really just the same kind of decks that we were seeing like when these cards first came out, just being really aggressive with red, yellow, and going from there. I'm gonna say this is the wrong topo. I'm not sure. I can't confirm, but my gut is telling me this is probably the other topo Righteous Aid. It could have been Prime Justice. Yeah, because if your opponent, it's a 2-drop negate that you can play if your leader has 15k power or more. Which I'd have to say this has to be the other topo. I'm gonna assume that. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm gonna say that this is the topo Righteous Aid. What is it? So like just the idea of going into, let's see, the 4-drop into the 5-drop into either the 6 or 7-drop, and then just pressuring your opponent from there. You can just get so much consistency with Evil Origins and Dr. Mew, the Mastermind, and nothing. Looking at the tech cards, nothing super crazy in the techs as well. Just this, not to like you have to be. There's still like a lot of decisions you got to make with these decks as well, but it's pretty straightforward, and both of them are very similar. I think Beerus Godly Majesty is the only difference that this one has, and I don't know why. What discards a card? I guess because Baby Evil Origin. Okay, yeah. So you can draw 3, drop 2, and then if you drop a Beerus, you get a Beerus for free. That's the idea, and that's worth it. And then also, looks like Jose's also has the idea of being able to have late game options, so like Frieza Army Reborn and both this 4-drop and 5-drop baby as well. And that's really it that's really all I have to say about these decks. They're really good, and they make sense why they're good, but they're not. It's kind of like what Universe 6 Kaba was a couple months ago, where the deck lists are very similar down to just a couple of tech choices, and then someone piloting them very well. All right, last we've got 2 Janemba decks, and then I can go to sleep. Yeah, sounds good. All right. So we've got Clifton Newhalls. This is a red, blue, and yellow variant of Janemba. Once again, being able to use Frostedly Poison as negating stuff, as well as Ultra Instinct, Son Goku. And honestly, like a lot of cards right now are just digging deep. I feel like people are kind of forgotten about Janemba again. Like people keep forgetting about Janemba because they want to play new stuff, and then most of the new stuff you are really greedy with your card draw, and then Janemba just pokes its head. It's like, hey, you lose. So just really good cards. Topo's great. Ultra Instinct is great at being control heavy. Bojack's great. Champa. The new Godly Aptitude Super Saiyan Son Goku, because for 1 energy, place this card from your hand to your drop, choose one of your opponent's battle cards at any cost of 2 or less and KO it, which is nice. And when you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the owner's warp. All right, not too bad. It's super funny because right now, like, he's only running 2 Janembas to actually mill the deck, right? You have to just focus on your leader itself for actually milling your opponent. So I think that's super funny. Bojack also helps as well, and the 4-drop as well. Like both these Bojacks also help the deck, but it's super funny that you just it's really just survive, and then eventually your opponent also loses anyways. So I think that's super funny. And then lastly, we've got Richard Dennings. He's got 5, so more than double the amount of Janembas in his deck. But he's running a blue, yellow, and green version instead of the red, and he's doing that for Vegeta the Cruel, the Infernal Villainy Cell, and also these Piccolo assimilated abilities. These are really good at just being really hard to deal with and making your opponent feel bad for playing cards. So I like this card in the deck, and can just really generate value in the long run, and which you're gonna have to do when you're playing Janemba anyways. So yeah, not a lot more to talk about. Did I miss any cards on the side? He didn't even run. He ran one more Janemba in the side. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, nothing too crazy there though. Besides that, he ran 2 demon swords. So he just said like, oh, I'd rather have godly aptitude in the deck to remove cards for 4 energy than demon sword. That's crazy. That's super weird. All right. Yes, he's got 2 Gokus in the side. That's kind of weird. He's only running 2 Frost Deadly Poison, so I guess he's running 2 as well. Yeah, I guess he's just. It looks like he makes it so if you need to just go into yellow blue, you can do that. I guess because he's running 3 Childish Heart and then also 2 more Demon Swords in this. So that kind of makes sense. So you can get rid of the Vegeta, the Cruels, the Piccolos, and the God Strikes, and you just focus on blue yellow. Even though you have to run 3 yellow for get 3 yellow for this Childish Heart, but I guess that makes sense. And yeah, I guess that's really it. So we're done. I did it, and I did it in almost exactly 40 minutes. So that's not too bad for me. But yeah, there are a lot of cool decks. The only thing that I'm a bit upset about right now in this format is that we still just have so many decks with draft box cards. Is there any in the top 16 that didn't have one? I don't think so. No. All right. This has the Goku. This has the 4-drop. This has 4-drop. This has 4-drop Ultra Instinct. This has Ultra Instinct. This has Ultra Instinct. Geez, so many Ultra Instincts. This has Super Saiyan Vegeta. That's the only one. Okay, we're down. We're getting closer. But yeah, like you have to run. Just run. Okay, this one's all right. All right, we've got. All right. Okay, we got one. We got one. This is from the draft box, but it's a rare, so it's only $10. Like these topos. So this deck is probably one of the cheaper versions. Yeah, so only $321. Great. Yeah, like $700, $800, $700, $800, $750, $550. All right, there we go. $680, $580, okay, $450. See, all right, so we're getting down there with these Broly ones. And this is without even giving a price for Broly Counter Retribution. So these are totally high, but this is still $300 deck. Okay, $150. All right, so Hatchiak, more budget variant. So these don't have. I don't think these have any of the extra like draft box cards. So like $120. So there we go. Baby, it's only $300 because they're running what is it? They're running that's expensive. Probably nothing too crazy actually. Probably just the. Oh yeah, the Super Baby one. This is still super expensive because it came out a year ago and hasn't been reprinted really. This one $300, $400 for this because it's running Goku's, and $300 for this as well. So, yeah, I think that's like the big thing for this. This game has kind of gotten a lot more expensive for playing at a high level, which is a little upsetting to me. I think if you look at a month ago, or not a month ago, like a year ago. Is pretty unreasonable for a deck to be over $100 competitively, and then any of the decks that was strictly because they ran 1 Victory Strike, and that would be like the main cost of the deck. So I don't know really how I feel about that right now. I think if they reprint the draft box cards, it's going to go down considerably, and that will probably be more affordable for a lot of people. But I also know like prices are really high in general right now, so. It's probably a little bit inflated, but that's just something I hope gets a little bit addressed coming forward. But yeah, I think this is a great event. Really cool to see all these interesting new archetypes, and I think like this is the format that I really kind of like. It's not super aggro, brain dead, and it's not like Janemba's still around and Gogeta's still around, but they're not oppressive. And it's not like I think like this is a format where a lot of different kind of decks can exist. I think that's really great. So shoutouts to everyone top 16. Shoutouts again to Top Cut Events, Mark Hill, and yeah. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.